Hi there, beautiful soul. How are you today? How are you feeling? So in this gorgeous video, we wanted to talk about forgiveness and to expand on the subject that forgiveness really is for your ego. So there's a lot that wants to come through with this topic today. So we'll just we'll go through it. So know within yourself that when you feel the need to forgive, it's really to give the ego peace of mind. It's the forgiveness is really a tool that we need for the ego. Once you remember who you are in your natural state, when you reconnect to spirit and you start to connect with your beautiful spirit guides, and you remember that it's all spirit and that it is all serving you and everyone else on this planet all the time. When you are aware of that, you realize, you understand on a deeper level that forgiveness is not necessary. You don't need to forgive. Why? Because that person was serving you in your human experience. And you serve others. We've talked about this when we said that you are a blessing to others. When you are kind, we all know when we're kind that we're blessing people because we're being good, we're doing good things. But what we were never taught is that we're also a blessing when we're unkind, when we do mean things, when we say mean things, when we hurt others. We're also a blessing because we are serving that person on their journey. So, know in your heart that once you remember that it's all spirit, that you are spirit, and that that person that caused you pain is spirit, and that the people that you caused pain to are spirit. It's all spirit. That's all that's ever happening here. You understand, on a deeper level, you understand that there's no need to forgive any of it. To forgive them, to forgive yourself, to forgive anything. There's nothing to forgive when you realize it's all spirit and it's all serving you. When you understand that within yourself, you know it through and through, that you are spirit having a human experience, and so is everyone else on the planet. When you remember that within yourself, you realize, well, there's nothing to forgive. If anything, all that you need to do is give gratitude for it. The only need then becomes thankfulness. I need to thank you for that experience. Because now I have that knowledge. Now I have that wisdom because of you, because of what I've been through with you. Now I have this incredible knowledge within me. Knowledge. Realize the word knowledge comes from the word know. I know this now because I've experienced it. If I were to show you all of these pictures of all of these beautiful dishes right now that have been completed, and I'll probably do that. I'll show you at least 4 different dishes that I'll pick out at random. And I'll tell you, they're all delicious. I mean, look at these pictures. They're amazing. They're just concept to you. They're just theory. It's just an image. Until you have that actual dish sitting in front of you on the table and you take a bite, you take your first spoonful or whatever it is, you don't know what they taste like. You have no idea. You haven't experienced these dishes firsthand. So, my beautiful beings, this is what life is. We are here to experience everything firsthand, that we may know what that tastes like, what that looks like, what that feels like, what that smells like. All of it. That's why we're given these gorgeous senses, that we may know fully, that we can experience fully. So know in your heart that if you are in a place of resentment and unforgiveness, that it is your ego that needs that. And that's why for me it was the first step. Because once you go through the process of forgiveness, you forgive others, you forgive yourself, you take action, whatever that action is, to make things right for yourself. You've apologized. You've done everything that you can to make it right, if you want to call it that. And you know what that is. You know what that is. Whatever it is. All of that is so that your ego can let go of it. Oh, okay. The separate I that was hurt by that person. Okay, I get it now. I can forgive that. I can let it go. Forgiveness is about letting it go, releasing it. And so that's what the Beautiful Forgiveness course is for, to walk your beautiful ego through the process. There are so many different videos within each module. And if you really sit with each video will guide you inward, further and further and further inwards to the truth. And we pray that you come out the other end where your ego is able to release and let it go. Release and let it go. It no longer needs to hold on to it. Because for those of you who don't understand the role of the ego goes through, when we're going through our childhood, especially, this is where it all starts, right? You have your parents or guardians, whoever raised you. And the ego sifts through. It monitors all the experiences you go through. And the ones that are good, yay, great, you know. It goes into the good folder, the great folder, the wonderful folder. We like that folder. It files it away in this cabinet of the good stuff that we want more of. And why do we want more of that? Because they feel natural to us. In our natural state, if it brings us joy, we can see that. Oh, yes, joy. I love joy. Joy makes me feel good. Peace, yes, peace. Bring more of that. That makes me feel good. It resonates with your natural state. But then the ego sifts through all the muck, all the stuff that didn't feel good, all the stuff that made us feel bad, that caused us pain, all of that. And it puts it into another filing cabinet. Stuff we don't want to go through again. That's basically the label on that filing cabinet. It didn't make us feel good, and we don't want to go through that again. We want to avoid that as much as possible. And so your ego is constantly cataloging and filing things away. Your separate I. It's observing the experiences, and the ones that feel good, great. Yes, we want more of those. There's that filing cabinet. And then there's the filing cabinet of, we don't want to do that again. We definitely don't want to do that again. And so what happens? It's not that the ego is bad. The ego is protecting you. That's its job. All these beliefs are being created because of what you've been through. All of these judgments because of what you've been through. This is bad. This makes me feel bad. This causes me pain. It makes me cry. Makes me feel ashamed. It makes me feel guilty, or whatever other things are coming up in this filing cabinet over here that makes me feel bad. Bad. This is the ego's job. And so what it does is, because this resonates, this is your natural state, the joy, the love, the peace, the abundance. When these things come up, it's like, yes, we want more of this, we want more of this. Try to find more of this. But when the other things come up that go against our natural state, it goes into the filing cabinet that says, avoid at all costs. And this is the ego's job. It's trying to keep you safe from being hurt, safe from pain. It creates all these fears around things. It's, oh no, we're afraid of that. We don't want that because that caused us pain. We don't want that. Stay away from that. All these little red flags go up. And the judgments and the beliefs are all created around that you have. That's the ego's job. That's what it's there for, to create this gorgeous human experience for you. But the ego is neither here nor there. It's not like it's only picking out all the bad stuff. You know, it studies everything you've been through, every single event, every single experience. Its job is to catalogue. Okay, where does this go? This goes in the pile of we want more of this. This is good stuff. Oh, this goes in here. We really didn't enjoy that at all. So let's put it over here on this side. Right? There's two sides. Except there's a duality to everything in this 3D simulation. So the good stuff goes here, the bad stuff goes here. And then from the bad stuff, it creates all these beliefs, all these judgments, fears to keep you safe so that we don't have to go through that again. We don't want to go through that again. But it stays in that filing cabinet. So what happens when we're going through the forgiveness course or the forgiveness process? What we have to do is go through that filing cabinet. All the stuff that was filed away that we don't want to go through again because it caused us pain and suffering, made us feel bad. We don't want to go through that again. But we need to look at all of that throughout the forgiveness process. We need to look at them, to see them for what they are, to see each event that we've been through, and to look at it for the gift that was in that event. Your past is a gift. That was the very first book. That's where my forgiveness process started. And that's my job at the time. That's what it was. Okay, this is the event. This is what I went through. This is the experience. Okay, what did I gain from that? What did I gain? What was the gift that that moment was trying to give my soul? What was my soul trying to gain from that? That is the whole process of forgiveness. Why did I go through that? What was I meant to gain from that on a soul level? So forgiveness is really to give the ego peace of mind. Okay, I went through this. You're looking at the event, you're looking at what happened, what that person did that caused you pain. You're understanding through the process of forgiveness, okay, that person was in pain. That's how they caused me this pain, because they already had it inside of them. They were already suffering. When I got here, they were already suffering. And so they passed that pain on to me, without even going into the soul thing, okay? This is just basic forgiveness stuff. That person was in pain and that's how they caused me pain. Learning to have compassion for that person rather than keep seeing them as the perpetrator and you as the victim. We're trying to shift that perspective. Remember, that's what most of these videos are about. Shifting the way we look at things, looking at them in a different way, at a different angle. So now we're looking at that being as, okay, instead of looking at them as this monster, the perpetrator, which as little ones, we tend to see them as monsters sometimes. I know I did with my mum for a really long time. I saw her as a monster. I was terrified, you know. But when you start doing the forgiveness process, you begin to see them as the being that is suffering. And that's how they caused you suffering, because of the pain that was inside of them. And that's just one of many videos that are inside the course. But it's about looking at those beings in many different ways that we can then look at, okay, this is what I went through. And now I have all this understanding about this person, this being. I can forgive. It's getting to that place where the ego can, you can sit with your ego and your ego's like, you know what? I'm okay with that now. I can forgive it. I'm not saying it was right, because the ego won't do that. Okay, I'm not saying it's right what they did. The ego will never let go of that. What they did was wrong, but I can accept it because I know that they were in pain, they were suffering, and all the other things that came through in the beautiful course. Because I think in the first one there's like 10 or 11 videos with different angles, different ways to look at these beings, that we can get to a place of compassion and no longer see them as the monster, no longer see them as the being, the perpetrator, and the being that caused us pain. We're trying to shift away from that perspective. And this, all of this that we do is for the ego to finally say, okay, you know what? We're safe. We can let that go now. It's all right. The ego needs to feel safe. Because the ego created all of this for you because you didn't feel safe at the time. All of these things that were causing you pain, causing you suffering, causing you trauma. At the time, you didn't feel safe. And so the ego put all of these things in place for you to keep you safe. This was what the ego decided. Okay, we need this fear, we need this belief, we need this judgment. All of this has to go in place. All of these fences going up, all of these walls. And if we stick to that, we'll be safe. That'll keep us safe. And so this whole beautiful process of forgiveness is for your ego to feel that, okay, we can let that go now and we are safe. Because for many of us, we feel we can't let that go because it doesn't feel safe to let that go. It feels like we're opening ourselves up again for more to come in, for more pain to come in, for more suffering, for more trauma from that being or from, wherever. If we loosen our grip, if we forgive, that gives that person, room to come back in and hurt us again. This is what keeps us stuck in this place. That we think that if we forgive, that person will just come back and do it all over again. Forgiveness is not about that. And one of the biggest videos in the course is that forgiveness is never about the other person. It's about setting yourself free. Setting yourself free. Really, it's about setting the ego free. That it no longer needs to be holding on to this, that, and the other and keeping us safe. It's okay. We're okay. It is all spirit and it is all serving us in every moment. So, my beautiful beings, know within yourself that forgiveness is for your ego so that it can just let it go and be free. Be free. It's the first step to releasing that separate I that we created to protect ourselves. Forgiveness. But once you remember that you are spirit in human form and every other being on this planet, everything on this planet is spirit. And it is all serving us in every moment. And we are serving in every moment. There is nothing to forgive. We are all here to have a human experience. It is that simple. And that person served you in the experience that your soul chose. That's all it was. All right, my beautiful beings. But if you are in resentment, because I was there for such a long time, holding on to grudges and so angry, I just couldn't let go of any of it, then the forgiveness course, the forgiveness process, it just assists your ego in letting go, that it no longer needs to do that. You are safe. You are held. You are supported. All right, my beautiful beings. We love you guys. Remember to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the messages. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.